You open the application and we basically go directly to our patient. So I go into the overview, and just in case she's not already in my system, I can add her via this button, and you enter the email address. The email address is really important for us because her activation data is her property and it's connected with her email address. We go on Patricia. We haven't done anything. You can see here in the history, no measurements are found. So what we are doing right now, we go back and we start a mapping. In level 1, we have basically the stabilizers. In level 2, we have all the muscles to the elbow and the knee. And level 3, we have actually all the other muscles, including the biting muscles like the masseter. You also can push and see it just in the list. We're starting with the measurement or the mapping of the hamstrings. So we take the hamstrings out of the list in level 2. So to get a deeper detail inside the muscles, we open the information button and we can see the sensor placement based on the Senium protocol. And then we have the mapping preview where you can see the different movements we are testing. So what do we measure? The rest position is actually always in every muscle integrated. There we can see if there's any kind of hyperactivity. Then we have the toe touch. Then we have the neck flexion. We have the hip extension on both sides in order to see if we have as I said, biceps dominance. To be sure, we also do an outward rotation in the knee. Then we have semi-dominant testing the knee flexion. And the last one is mainly the maximum voluntary activation test, the MVA, to let all of your hamstring muscles fire as hard as they can. All those information and maybe a little bit more you can find in the good to knows, and we will add more information. So always take a look from time to time into that part. All right, we start with the sensor placement. Before we do so, we have a quick look on the charger. When you put them away from the charger, take time for like 10 seconds until they activate. You can see with the light here. So at this point it starts to light up bluely and then go over into green. And when they are lighting green, then they are findable in your application and you can connect them via Bluetooth. So now we come to the point where we place the sensors on the skin. Before we do so, we have to clean the skin. We go and prepare the location where we want to place the sensors. Those electrodes need to be used once for each muscle. We take a look into our application. There we can see that we have the lateral and the medial epicondylus of the tibia and the orientation from the sciaticum tuberculi. And then on the half of the way we place the sensors. I want her to contract the muscles, for example, by raising the leg. We have the epicondylus, we have the tuber. On the half of the way we place the sensor and we place the sensor on the other side. In this case, I have placed number 2 on the left and number 1 on the right side. Now connect the sensors with the application. We concentrate on the action button down below. It's the green one. We push it and we see different sensors. They are available. In this case, we have the sensor 2 on the biceps femoris and the sensor 1 on the semicrup. So we push first 2 and then 1 and they get connected, and we can see it here with the green OK button. In this case, we need to check if the sensor 2 is really on the biceps, so we can do a quick tapping test and we can see that the signal is increasing on the sensor I wanted to have. So in this case, everything is how I wanted. If we have dismissed this, then we can change the sensors as I can show here. So we start with the mapping. So pretty much easy. We go into the mapping procedure. We can see a lot of stuff here. First of all, we concentrate on where are we actually in the whole mapping procedure. We can see here the name of the testing, and actually we can see here how many tests already need to be done in the specific mapping situation. If I want to get an idea of which exercise is now available or should I do now, I can push the watch video button and I can see the video, what needs to be done. In this case, pretty much easy, it's just standing. So I go back and then I'm again in the testing situation. What can I do further? I can make a picture by pressing the camera button in order to, for example, show if someone is, for example, having a, I don't know, orthese on his knee. I can document it by pushing the camera button and agree it. So it's actually saved. I can also skip a specific test. It's, for example, after the knee surgery, when someone is not able to do a single leg squat, then it's necessary to skip the testing. Now we come to the most important button in the mapping procedure. It's the reset button. Always when you enter a mapping, or actually also a free mode, it's starting to record. It's like in the background. So if you want to test a specific movement, you have to reset everything until you start with the test procedure. I ask you to stand and to hold still, and as soon as she is doing this, I reset it and she stays as she is, and I can observe how the activity is behaving. I keep it like 5 to 10 seconds, and then I push the action button to get to the next test. We come to the second test. It's actually the toe touch. So please go down as far as you can with your fingertips down to the floor. And let's go up. 1. Really good. Now you bring your head to the front to create an active neck flexion and stay like this. I reset and it behaves equal to the rest position. So we just wait for 5 to 10 seconds and then we hop over to the next test. Now you lay down on the belly and relax totally. And now please raise your both legs up. Even that we are just testing once. One leg and bring it down. I want to have it 3 times. You also can do it 5 times, but at least it should be 3 repetitions. Thank you very much and relax. Then to create a even higher increased activity of the biceps, I want her to do a outward rotation in the knee joint. And as we can see, there's a higher activity of the biceps femoris. Go down and you repeat it 2 more times. And always be aware that you reset just right before the exercise starts. The next one is the knee flexion. So you put your foot into a neutral position and now you bend your knee twice or 3 times, just to the 90 degrees and go back again and up and back and up. And the last one is actually the maximum voluntary activation. I put my fist behind her knee joint, so I let her straighten the knee, then I put my fist right to the point that she's not having contact to my fist. Bring your right leg into the air, bend it, and now I reset again, and then please lift your pelvic 3 times. It's 1, go down, and 2, and down, and 3 and down, and that's basically it. So in the report we directly can see if there are any issues. As we can see, she has to fix the rest position. That means that there is something obvious hyperactive. We go on later on it and have a look at it in detail. Then we have a balance score in the yellow phase. What does it mean? We can help deeper into the information and we see that she is close before the green region. Every imbalance up to 20% is not a big deal. Until 40% you can have like in the yellow phase, and below you're in the red zone. So we can see here with 77% it's not a big issue. You get further information here, and the good to know also can see here again. We can go deeper into the details and see every detailed exercise we have done in this testing. And the first, you can see here that she has a hyperactivity in the biceps femoris, just in the standing position. That is definitely higher as it should be. But the rest is okay-ish. With a view on the leg curls, we have one big imbalance. The semi group should be more active than the biceps. In this case, it's different, so it's paradox. If she is saying, for example, that she has any pain in this testing, we can add a note here and can write down that she is having pain in the specific testing, or for example, knowing that she is having pain in the leg curls in the gym or somewhere else. If we have done any photos, you could see it here. You would see a situation, a point of interest with a white dot to see where the photo is taken. If you want to share this report to your patient, then you go here on the envelope and then you can send it either to the athlete or to the trainer or to both. You need to be aware that you always have to type down the birth date of the athlete in his settings, because the report is password secured with the birth date of the patient. You are also able to send it in a different way, for example airdropping, or to print it directly. If you want to print it, you can have a preview how it looks like. So as you can see, it's printable in the white shape. All right, we come to the report. If you want to do a report, we go on the athlete, and there we can see directly colored if there are any differences between left and right, for example. In this case, we already did a hamstring mappings of the right side. We go into the history, and then we can compare each test, for example, left to right or left with the left testings in the history. We go on compare, and then we can select, in this case, right and left. We push the action button, and then we directly can see the differences in between. And then we can open specific testings and see the differences between left and right. In this case, she has a higher activation in the testing of active neck flexion. It should be lower. So this is definitely something she can work on. If you see, for example, in only one testing such a value, you can do your specific treatment, for example, some exercises or passive treatment intervention, and then you directly test this test, for example, in the free mode. I suggest always to compare also the test with the highest activity, in this case the single leg bridging, and there we can see that the biceps femoris on both sides are pretty much equal, only 10% imbalance, so a balance score of 90%, but the semi, so the knee bending activity on the left side, is 40% less. We're now entering the free mode in order to work on the corrective exercises. You either can go here on the start free mode, or you can go back into the free mode setting in the home button. So we have no muscles here because we can place the sensors everywhere where we want to have them in order to see which muscle is which. We can see here sensor 2 is the biceps and sensor 1 are the semis. All right, we start the whole thing, and now I show you how to create your own test battery. If you want to do your own test battery, you again reset before a specific movement. In this case, we want to compare different ways of doing a bridging. The first one, like the one a lot of people are actually doing, is putting the foot close to the pelvic, raise your right leg into the air, and then I reset and you bring your pelvic up front. 1 and 2 and 3, and you can see the activity. I go with this button to the next. Now you put the leg further to the front. I reset and you do again 3 times the exercise, and As you can see, you have a higher activity in this case. I push the next button and you again put your foot to the front. I reset and again 3 times. 1 and go up, 2 and 3. And then I end the testing and I can compare each way of the bridging and can see that I have an increased activity the more I put the foot to the straight position. In the biofeedback modus, it's really important to find some ideas how to motivate the patient to work in the edge of the comfort zone. So I want to activate and recruit more the semi group. I know that they need to do a leg curl in the knee, so I choose the middle position of the single leg bridge. Please bring your leg in the upward position and just raise your pelvic. So I create the maximum activation without additional knee bending, and I see this is her activity pattern right now she is doing. Now I want to motivate her to create more activity. So I give her the cue to pull the heel to her glutes. And there we can see that she's able to recruit more activity in the hamstrings. I push here the training mode. What can I do? I have the time under tension. So as soon as she is crossing the threshold and being in the green zone, the time under tension is counting. So I can say like, please stay for 10 seconds or whatever in this threshold part. Or we can count, like every time she's coming over the point, it's counting, and then I can create a really hard training setup.